right, welcome students and welcome panelists. Thank you for joining us for yet another New Connect IT session. We're thrilled to have everybody here and are looking forward to answering your questions about what it means to be in a technology role. We're going to do a little bit of welcome and introductions, then we'll jump into our panel discussion. First off, before we get too far into things, I do want to thank our investors. These companies that you see listed here, as well as the companies on the next page, are all supporters of the New Digital Alliance, and they are very interested in engaging with students throughout Wisconsin and elsewhere, and encouraging you to jump into IT roles and technology-based roles. They are looking to hire you, so they're looking to engage with you as their future workforce. We're actually going to be hearing from Todd Teal from Secura this morning.
Hello, and welcome to NEW Connect IT 2020. My name is Todd Thiel, and I'm the Chief Information Officer, or CIO, for Secure Insurance. What does a CIO do, you may ask? Well, we're ultimately responsible for all the technology needs of a company, and we lead a team of technology professionals who deliver new and exciting solutions for our customers. In my role at Secure Insurance, headquartered in Neenah, Wisconsin, I lead an IT department of 150 people with a broad mix of skills. We have software developers, business analysts, testers, networking engineers, security specialists, technology architects, project managers, and much more. Our company sells insurance. If you've seen ads from Progressive or Geico, and who hasn't, then you know what car insurance is. Well, at Secura, we sell all different kinds of insurance, not just for cars and homes, but for businesses like those that you or your parents may work at, for restaurants, fitness clubs, and campsites you may enjoy in your free time, for farmers who grow your food, and much more. In the insurance industry, we're heavily dependent on providing new technology solutions every day to our agents and policyholders. This has never been more important than in the age of COVID, where video conferencing, electronic signatures, and instant messaging are the norm. We are an industry that is driven by relationships, and those relationships are enabled through technology. If you're looking to work on exciting new technology as an IT professional, I'd highly encourage you to consider the insurance industry and Secura. Every year, we hire interns in a variety of roles to give students an opportunity to grow their skills while getting paid for it. In closing, we're excited to see you here for today's panel, and I encourage you to ask a lot of questions as you discover how you can make a real difference as you explore a career in information technology. Welcome.
And thank you, Todd. Appreciate you taking the time to make that video and spend a little bit of time with us this morning. All right, moving along. One of the questions I want to address right up front is, what courses should I be taking in high school in order to prepare me to go into a college program and ultimately a career in IT? And the answer is, well, anything you want. Because if you're more interested in a very technical role, then computer science might be a class or a club that you would want to get involved with. However, if you tend to be more the creative type and are looking to go into some web development or even digital graphic design, digital marketing, then art class is a perfect preparatory class for you for those types of roles. We do have more information on how each of these different courses would apply towards a career in technology, and I will share that webpage with you kind of towards the end of today's session. But now I'd like to move on and introduce our panel, and I'm going to actually start by introducing myself, and then we'll introduce our panelists to you. So my name is Kim Iverson. I am the director for the Northeast Wisconsin Digital Alliance. And I got into IT kind of in a weird way. So my original background is actually the biological sciences. So I have a degree in molecular biology and human genetics, but was unable to find anything to do with that degree here in Northeast Wisconsin when I graduated. So I went back and picked up a second degree in information systems and have worked for the last, 16 years in the IT field in various roles as a result, and have loved every minute of every job I've done. So that's a little bit about me. Let's hear from our panelists. Steve, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Good morning. My name is Steve Eben. I am the department chair for our IT division at Fox Valley Tech. How I got into IT, I actually went to college for architecture and decided early on it wasn't something I thought I was going to be interested in. So changed my major, bought a computer when I was 19 years old for the first time, and kind of just jumped into it. So that's how I got into IT.
Thank you. Brooke.
Good morning. I'm Brooke Sumner, and I'm the Associate Dean of IT at Fox Valley Technical College. So I've been serving the last 4.5 years as the advisor for the IT division, and I really fell in love with IT and the people. I've taken lots of IT classes over the years just to become more acclimated, and kind of led me to where I am today. So I am looking forward to continuing working within the IT world.
Excellent. Thank you, Brooke. Terry.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Terry Christensen, and I am a senior corporate recruiter at Ensight. Most people know us as Cellcom. They're one and the same. Ensight is the parent company. I had gotten into recruiting at least 16 years ago, starting off in the engineering and progressed into IT recruiting. Chose to stay on the technical recruiting side just because it's an ever-changing field. I love it.
All right. Thank you. Welcome, Terry.
Thank you.
Jack.
Good morning. I'm Jack Brown. I work for Secure Insurance. I am the Director of Business Intelligence. I had a little bit of an abnormal path getting into IT. I started off as a double major in chemistry and biology. Decided it wasn't for me and transitioned and started to get my degree in information systems at UW Oshkosh. Kind of fell in love with technology at that point and then transitioned into working full-time in IT.
Thank you and welcome. Michael Zorn.
Hey everyone, my name is Mike Zorn. I'm an associate dean in our College of Science, Engineering, and Technology, and I'm involved more from the administrative end. So computer science is one of the programs in our college, and I get involved also as the chair of computer science currently. My background is actually chemistry, but I do have an interest in some research in the IT area using microcontrollers for sensors and things like that.
Thank you. Bobby.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Bobby Fields. I'm the Associate Dean of Business and IT at Moraine Park Technical College in Fond du Lac. I actually didn't get a start in IT either. I was attracted to healthcare, and so right out of high school was pursuing a degree in healthcare. But once I started working in a patient care related role, decided that IT would be a better fit for me. So I switched majors and found a good place for me in health information technology with a larger healthcare system. Before coming to Moraine Park, I taught for about 15 years in our health division and now am working with our business and IT programs.
Excellent. Thank you. Cyrene.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Serene Wilkie, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Operations and Technology at Investors Community Bank. We have offices in Green Bay, Fox Valley, Stevens Point, and our headquarters is in Manitowoc. Right out of high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Maybe some of you feel that too. So I got into technology kind of by accident. The local bank where I grew up called up the school and wanted to find somebody who had some computer courses, who did really well in computer courses and was going to stick around for the summer. And so I got my first gig at a financial institution and then setting up a simple database and automating some processes for the bank. And that's where I got my first taste of technology and banking, and that's where I've been ever since. So
excellent. Thank you. All right, Jared.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jared Keene, and I am the Business Intelligence Architect at Secure Insurance. Been here for about a year now. My journey into IT started with video games. I was a video game nerd from a very young age and ended up going to college and getting a degree, kind of a mixture degree with some mathematics, some computer science, some theater, with the goal of getting into video game development. Unfortunately, those dreams did not come true, but I went for my second favorite passion, which is business intelligence and data analytics. So that's where I've spent most of my career, just getting nerdy with data and all the fun stuff that data has to offer these days.
All right. Thank you, Jared. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so we can have a better view of our panelists as we now go through the questions. So I'm going to start with our higher ed representatives and ask each of you in turn to share a little bit about your majors, what majors and programs do you offer, and what might make your program unique. So let's start with Fox Valley Tech.
Yeah, so we have 6 two-year programs, and we call them two-year programs based upon the amount of credits. So most of our associate degree programs are just over 60 credits. We have programs in information security, network specialist, which is really just connectivity if you think about how devices communicate with each other, system administration, which is really just kind of connecting the dots to all of the different applications and systems that we use, computer support specialist, which would be more of your service desk or your help desk, desktop support. And then on the other side, we have software development and web design and development as well. And those are more, I would say, coding and user interface programs. One thing that I think sets us apart from a lot of the other areas is that we do promote a lot of hands-on learning. And so we have a large investment in our infrastructure to provide kind of a virtual learning environment, no matter where you are. You could be in class and your instructors could be kind of mirroring your environment. And that's something that we're proud of, is that we offer individual environments for each of our students so that they can truly get the hands-on experience that they need so that they can be successful in the workforce.
Excellent. Thank you. Michael, what about UWGB's programs?
We have IT related programs in all 4 colleges at UW Green Bay. Computer science, we have 2 emphases. We have one in information assurance and security, or in other words, cybersecurity. We also have a more traditional software engineering emphasis. We also have a couple of emphases in the data science area. We have a regular data science emphasis, game studies, information technology. We've got business analytics over in our School of Business, and then we also have health information management and technology, which is a collaborative program. So we basically have lots of different areas where students could get involved in IT types of majors.
So thank you. Bobby.
Sure. At Marine Park, we offer quite a few different associate degree programs. So we have Associate of Applied Science in Software Development, Cybersecurity, Network Specialist, Technical Support Specialist, both web and mobile applications development. And we also have an Associate of Applied Science for Interactive Media Design. We have some certificates and technical diplomas that oftentimes students will add on to their associate degrees. So a certificate is about 15 credits and a technical diploma hovers around 30 credits. Our curriculum aligns with and prepares students to write professional certification exams for Google certifications with Google, Checkpoint Secure Academy, Cisco, IIBA, which is the International Association for Business Analysts, and PMI, which is an organization dedicated to project management. Something kind of unique about our programs at the 2-year colleges, both at Fox Valley Tech and Marine Park, we have quite a few agreements with the 4 years so that students can get a start maybe at a 2-year institution if that's a better fit, and then go on and finish up their bachelor's degree. In fact, I did that very thing. I graduated from Marine Park Technical College. I took classes at Fox Valley Tech right out of high school, and then ultimately transition to a 4-year and master's degree using those credits that I earned there.
Thank you. And for students on the call, we do have 2 other institutions that were unable to join us today. So Lakeland University is also in the Northeast Wisconsin region, and they have some excellent computer science programs as well. And then UW Oshkosh has some programs as well in computer science, information systems, which is really within the College of Business. And then they have an interactive web management program too that, so we would encourage students who are, looking towards the future to start reaching out to our colleges, those that you have been introduced to here on the call, as well as, the others who aren't present today. We do have Lakeshore Technical College and NWTC, or Northeast Wisconsin Technical College, in our region as well, all of whom have excellent programs. But reach out to the institutions, set up some time to not only tour in person or virtually, but also set up some time with the folks you see here on the call. Sit down with them and talk about their programs so you can find the institution that is a best fit for you in what you want to do moving forward. All right, so now let's hear from our employers and our IT professionals. I'm going to ask Surain and Jared, we'll start with Surain, to describe a day in the life of their role. So if you could start by telling us what you do at your company, and then what does your day look like?
So my role is a little bit unique, where I manage both operations, or I like to say I support those areas of the bank, the operations side and the technology teams. And technology at our organization means both the internal technology, the technology that we use when we do our work, and then it's also the technology that our customers use to do their banking with us. So there's 2 sides to the technology here at our bank, but I also lead our project management office. So I think it was Bobby who mentioned a skill set that's offered through the college there is, PMI, or Project Management Institute certification. That's a very important skill in technology, no matter what industry or focus you end up having, is project management skills. So I manage the project management office at the bank. And typically my day involves leading team meetings, project team meetings. We are involved in a number of different initiatives. We look at cybersecurity reports. We're introducing our first chatbot, so we've got a couple of projects related to that going on. And so that my day is a little bit different every single day, but that's what makes it very fun.
So thank you. So Jared, tell us about a day in the life for you.
Sure. So for me, there's really two main facets to my role. First of all, I'm in a particular function called enterprise architecture. About the simplest way of explaining that is in the same way what you normally expect an architect to do, which is design buildings, making sure they're structurally appropriate, that they have all the necessary rooms. In enterprise architecture, I essentially do the same thing, but I'm focused on technology. There's a lot of different needs for businesses to use applications in different ways and to code in different ways. And my role in enterprise architecture is really to make sure that with all the different things going on in a company with technology, that it's being done in a way that everybody's working well together and we're really making the best use of everybody's strengths. The second facet of what I do is business intelligence, which again is obviously a lot of applications nowadays are generating data points. Like in insurance, we do a lot with insurance policies. You could also look at websites like Amazon and such, where anytime they give you those indications of, okay, you purchased this product, maybe you'd be interested in another project. All of that is driven by data, and that really rolls up into what is commonly referred to as business intelligence. Putting those two together, I'm really focused on figuring out how to build data systems to make use of data for a company. Daily functions, it's a lot of meetings, a lot of talking to people, sharing ideas, trying to establish what's the best way of accomplishing something that we're trying to achieve. And otherwise, really a lot of communication in my role. There's a lot of big ideas, a lot of different directions that you could go, and ultimately being able to explain technical concepts to any audience, regardless of whether they are a technical master or whether they are somebody who really doesn't know a whole lot about technology. I need to be able to communicate that. So that's the primary function of what I do nowadays.
All right, thank you. And I think you touched on an element of one question we often get from our students, and that's how often do you work in teams as IT folks? And I know from my experience, it was most of my day actually that I was working within a team and talking even with our developers who we frequently think of as, sitting by themselves writing code all day. It's not uncommon for them to have meetings with their immediate work team, but also their project teams and having to collaborate on a lot of work. So IT is not something where you're sitting by yourself. It is a very collaborative career area. This is a question we get a lot and it's hard to answer. How will I know if I like this kind of work? Jared, how would you answer that?
What usually sticks out to me when I think about what I like about my work, narrow it down to two things. One, liking logic puzzles or puzzles in general. A lot of what we deal with in IT, unless you're dealing with more the hardware side of IT, is abstract concepts and usually finding creative ways to solve puzzles. You really can think of a lot of our work as just puzzle solving, and the way that we solve puzzles is by writing code or building websites, all of those things. So I think having a personality where you like being presented with problems, like thinking back to math courses, those problem solving questions, those are the ones that I loved more so than like anything else. So I think a nature that really seeks to enjoy solving those problems on a regular basis will do well. And I think Kim hit it too. Really the desire to collaborate with people is important. We all come from similar backgrounds as far as education goes, but in the end, we have various experiences, and as a result, everybody on this call has developed different strengths. So you need to be willing to work with people who have different strengths than you and being able to feed off of one another to really create the best product.
Thank you. Anybody want to add to that?
I would say from an education standpoint, with the technical colleges, classes are pretty reasonable. So, I always tell students coming in, take some classes, figure out if it's of interest to you. And sometimes I'll take a class from one of our program areas and find out maybe that's not the right area of IT. But really, sometimes it's just getting your feet wet and dabbling in the different subject areas that is going to help you find out whether or not it's really a good fit for you.
And that actually brings up another good point. So, if you're a student who's kind of trying to figure out, is a 2-year institution or a 4-year institution a better fit for myself? Like I mentioned before, definitely talk to the individual institutions, learn more about their programs and their instructors. But another thing to kind of bear in mind is our 2-year institutions, you will have some gen eds that you'll have to do, but frequently there you're going to jump right into a degree program area just by the nature of you've only got 2 years, so you have to get right at it. That's not to say you can't change your mind in your degree area, but you are going to kind of get right down to work pretty much day one. Where the 4-year institutions, you've got more time to dabble, explore a little bit, but you're also going to be in school for 4 years. So if you have to kind of figure out which one is the best fit for your personality. Some people really like to get hands-on and get right down to brass tacks. Then a 2-year might be the right fit for you. But if you like to get a much broader education and you really like the book learning side of things, then a 4-year institution might be a better fit for you. But do your exploration, because every single one of our institutions has a lot of great things to offer. So do check them all out.
The only thing that I'll add is a lot of companies in the area offer internships, right? So Secure is one of them. It's a good opportunity to kind of test it out to see if you like it. Now, a lot of them will want you to have some sort of background coursework and all that to be successful in those spaces, but you might learn that, you might have like a software developer internship, and you might realize you don't like software development, but you might see that there's like a business analyst role within IT that you do like. So I would say try as many internships as you can within the different areas. And then once you find one, start to focus more in that space. So.
Yep. And you mentioned a few different career areas there, Jack. So from your perspective at Secura, what are some IT positions that you see the biggest demand for in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, so the big one, we're always looking for software developers at Secure Insurance. I swear we have a posting pretty much every day for a software developer, it feels like. And then I would also say, within the data analyst space, you're going to start to see a little bit more demand for those as well, especially as companies are moving into predictive analytics and prescriptive analytics. So those are 2 large spaces where you're going to see, some high demand.
So thank you. Terry, I see your camera's off right now. There we go. Anything to add from an Insight perspective on, what are those biggest demand areas?
Right. And for us, because we are a telecommunications company, network engineering is what we're looking for. Currently, right now, I have 3 different types of network engineering roles open, from, as you discussed, more of a hands-on approach to more of someone that has done more of the analytical. So definitely network engineering for us.
Yeah, excellent. And I know from some of our other sessions, a few of our other employers have also thrown in cybersecurity as well. So I know, phishing and hacking are huge right now, and our companies do need to protect themselves. So that's another area of high demand. Are IT jobs good paying jobs? Terry?
I think they are. That's what I do. The way technology is going right now, you're going to need individuals in the IT field. So I feel like that is security right there. But it's ever changing, right? And, what was 20 years ago is not going to be what it is today. So I think there'll always be a career in IT.
Jack, anything to add to that?
No, I would kind of echo what Terry said. They're good paying jobs. I would say they tend to be on the higher end of the spectrum within our organization for, pay. So, but it's also one of those things, we keep in mind the full package as well. So vacation, your health benefits, all that kind of stuff, it all plays a part in the overall compensation. But yeah, they are good paying jobs.
And we do have a question here from the students. What is prescriptive analytics? And I think you brought that, Jack, so I'll have you answer that one.
Yeah, so, predictive analytics is, and I know the question was prescriptive, but predictive analytics is more along the lines of you feed in a bunch of data points, there's statistical calculations that will spit back some sort of score, right? That would be what we would consider predictive analytics. Prescriptive analytics is more, you're moving towards building that decision making within your associates and having them the ability to make decisions based off of data and drive some data-driven decisions. So we always talk about like citizen data scientists and all that kind of stuff. And that's moving from having, you know, a very specific role of data scientists to having individuals within your organization making decisions based off of data. And Jared might be able to go a little bit deeper, but at a high level, that's kind of what it is.
Yeah, about the only thing I'd add is if you remember earlier, I brought up the point of you go to a site like Amazon and they take a look at the information you've purchased, and based on what you purchased, they're able to provide recommendations on other things you might want to purchase, or you think of Google doing similar things. That pretty much is one approach to prescriptive analytics. It's to say, based on what you've purchased and based on everybody else who has purchased that exact same product, they're able to determine that these people, generally, if they purchase product A, they're also looking for product B within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So that's where they're really being able to prescribe to you to say, all right, based on what you purchased, this is what we think you'll need next, which ultimately can drive more business.
Thank you for that. I'm looking here back at my notes of questions. This one, we hear a lot about, I'll say, advanced technology, and talking sometimes with our students, both those in high school and those who are in college. There's often an eagerness to work with the latest and greatest, coolest technology, things like artificial intelligence and virtual reality and so forth. So I'm going to kind of walk through the group and get your perspective on a little bit of what are you doing in these spaces. Starting with our higher ed, Bobby, what are you guys doing at Moraine Park to prepare students for emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and so forth?
So actually, we have a lot of construction going on here right now. We just built a whole new wing dedicated to IT, and it opened up this fall. We do have some limited foot traffic. Students are able to come on campus, but not a whole heck of a lot right now. We hope that in spring and next year we can really showcase this area a little bit more. But the classrooms are brand new, state of the art, and include a lot of opportunity for hands-on learning. We have a server room and are building quite a few new simulations for our cybersecurity program with Checkpoint Secure Academy and some other vendors. So really are looking at expanding not only just the technologies and software, but also in the spaces that we do that. We know that our students may or may not be able to come on campus, so we're working diligently to ensure that what students get in the online experience is mimicking our on-campus experience. So whether you're here or remote, you'll have the same types of opportunities.
Thank you, Bobby. Steve, what are you guys doing at Fox Valley Tech to help prepare the students for some of that leading edge technology?
Yeah, so a couple of things. The first is that, as I stated before, we have a huge investment in our infrastructure. And so we run a virtual infrastructure for all of our students, and we run about 4,000 virtual machines for our students each semester. Those are for the students. That's their own virtual machine. And so when a student comes to us and says, what type of computer do I need to be successful in college? We basically say it really doesn't matter. You just need some sort of internet capable device, because we're going to provide you with any of the operating systems or hardware that you're going to need access to. We've also virtualized Mac OS. So students that are going into iOS development or any type of mobile development don't have to own a Mac, which is a prerequisite of doing that development. So we've actually virtualized Mac OS, really pretty powerful Mac Pro servers that are in our data center. So our students can actually take their iPhones or their phones at home, plug them into their computer at home, pass it through into this virtual machine, develop code on the virtual machine, and then download the app directly to their phone to test it. Something that not a lot of institutions are doing without forcing the student to purchase a $2,000 Mac computer. On the flip side of it, we also just got state approval for a data specialist program. So just like the gentleman from Secure, we're talking about the push and the demand for data specialists. and data analysts. With that, we're going to be getting more into obviously machine learning and artificial intelligence, understanding some of the analytics side of data. So that's going to be starting in the fall. So 1 year from now, we're starting to look at developing those courses now, and we'll be launching that in next fall. So those are just a couple of things that we're doing.
So thank you. Mike, how about at UWGB?
Yeah, so I would say our upper level courses would be where most of those things would be addressed. So we have upper level courses targeted toward, one is artificial intelligence. We have data communications and computer networks, various things like that. So by offering those targeted upper level courses, students get in a little bit deeper in those areas. We also have a cybersecurity center on campus that has a number of robots and other types of gadgets where students can get involved with upper level projects and do hacking with the robots and things like that. So there's a number of different ways that we keep students engaged in cutting edge technologies.
Excellent. So our institutions are starting to prepare the students for some of that leading edge technology. What about our employers? Are you starting to engage it yet? Terry, what are you guys doing at Cellcom?
I mean, we are moving from 4G to 5G. So obviously that's going to be the biggest thing that we're moving, which is why we have a lot of networking opportunities open right now. But we do get positions in for our wireless device engineering side. And this is probably the coolest job where we let all, it's very confidential. And these wireless device engineers receive product in from like Samsung, LG, Apple, and they get to test that product before it even hits the shelves, before you ever see a commercial on it. They're working on it to make sure it matches our network. So I would think it's the funnest job or coolest job that we have. So definitely technology-wise would be moving to the 5G, a new product.
Excellent. And I'm looking forward to getting that 5G here.
I can't even see the product, so it's that confidential.
Wow. Jack, at Secura, what are you guys doing that might be kind of in that leading edge space?
Yeah, I would say, so, I mean, we have several different software development teams, but predictive analytics and building out predictive models is probably one of the, I would say, most cutting edge, coolest things that we are doing within our space. So we do it around scoring of commercial policies on, what kind of rate should we provide them? We do it around claims on, do we think a claim is going to be like a long-tailed claim, meaning it's going to drag out, or a short-tailed claim, it's going to close pretty quick. And then we determine, what type of claim reps we should put on there. The natural progression in those predictive models would be as we mature in the space. So today we refresh them about every 3 years, but as we mature in the space, you can put machine learning around those models where they're growing and learning like throughout, the day, and they're adjusting scores as a result, right? So as we mature in this space, that's kind of where we're heading. We're also moving more towards using APIs and things like that to integrate our systems rather than doing point-to-point architecture, which unfortunately, when you do point-to-point architecture, you create these massive systems that are extremely difficult to modernize and grow as technology grows. So
just a couple of, say, simplifications for our students. So students, if you think of an API as a wire with adapters that can plug into two systems to allow them to talk to one another, right? So it simplifies the way that the overall infrastructure, the architecture within a company has to function from a technology perspective. And then when we talk about machine learning, I've had an artificial intelligence expert kind of describe to me artificial intelligence is sort of an overarching umbrella term underneath which there are many different flavors of artificial intelligence, and machine learning is one of those. So anytime you hear a company talk about machine learning, think, artificial intelligence. Okay, I kind of have an idea what this might be. And some of that is very oversimplified, I know, but it helps sometimes with a bit of understanding. So Sirene, working in in the banking world, what are some of the leading edge technology things you guys are doing?
Well, we're much smaller in comparison to Secura and Insight, but we're also equally as focused on advanced technologies like data analytics, cybersecurity, and a lot of the skills that both Mike and Steve mentioned that are available through some of the local community colleges and universities are exactly the skills that we're looking for as an employer. So when we talk about artificial intelligence, we're starting to explore using robots and robots being software to automate processes. And we're also exploring what would it look like when Ensight has 5G available in our market, and how does that impact how we do things. So your Google topic for today is edge computing. Edge computing is like super cool, and that's going to change how we do things. And I think that's one of the other neat things about some of the technologies that are being introduced in our industries is some of this, new things that are involving things that we don't even see today. So imagine in this meeting, we're very two-dimensional in a screen, but imagine putting on a pair of like Oculus lenses and virtual reality and looking like you're sitting around the table with everybody that's on this call. Those are the types of cool things that you can do with some of the new technologies.
That would be so cool. I'm so jazzed for that kind of a meeting, especially in today's very virtual and remote world. Jared, so, from your perspective, what are some of the emerging technologies you've encountered in maybe in your role or even expect to work with?
So a lot of Jack and I work pretty closely with one another. So a lot of my work and his aligns. About the one thing I would add is this emerging trend of working with what's called cloud technologies. And I think the best way I can think of explaining it is if you think about the laptops or computers you have at home, if you take them and you make them like really super strong, you build what's called a server. Then the question becomes, who manages the server? Should it be managed by, in the case of like Jack and I and Secure Insurance, do we buy a bunch of servers and do we build them in-house and do we support them ourselves? Or what's emerging now is this concept of cloud, which is Microsoft builds a bunch of these servers. They manage the servers themselves, and they really just make them available for us so we can focus on building applications and building predictive models. We don't necessarily have to worry about how the server is performing, if the server needs maintenance. We don't necessarily deal with that. We focus more on the business problems that we're trying to solve. I think in terms of architecture, where Cyrene was going in terms of the Oculus lenses, I kind of like the HoloLenses in the augmented reality aspect, where everybody could be sitting in a room and be seeing a diagram of a building that's in a 3D model, and you can kind of see how everything's going to be laid out and have discussions about how that should be improved. That's where I really see a lot of the cool advancements going. And obviously, to drive all those things, you need data points. So the data is evolving with that as well.
It's interesting. You talk about the augmented reality, and we've heard about the virtual reality. Somebody mentioned wanting to go into school as an architecture. So my middle daughter is actually finishing up a degree in architecture, and this starts to talk a little bit about some of the hybridization of IT with other career areas. Well, she took a class in how to create 3D and virtual mock-ups of the buildings that she is designing. So we've actually had the opportunity to put on her virtual reality goggles and walk through her architectural designs for one of her classes, and that was super cool. And so that kind of technology is coming into our construction industry and our architectural field as well. My oldest daughter, again, talking about hybrid roles, right? So maybe I'm kind of interested in IT, but I'm also interested in this other area. My oldest daughter combined a degree in data forensics. So think of CSI, right? And having to maintain chain of custody of the evidence and so forth. She's learned all about that in a digital realm. And then she also likes money. So she layered on some finance classes. And she has worked for one of our local banks as both in their cybersecurity department as a cyber analyst for a while. And then she moved on into a role as a financial fraud analyst and really has enjoyed both roles. So that was a way of combining the areas that she was kind of passionate about. All right, so we have some questions in the chat window from our students. And this first question, are there any websites to practice or equipment one can buy in high school to start playing around with learning any of these careers? And I will take our students out to the New Digital Alliance website in a little bit and show you some options. But from our panelists, any of you have some suggestions for our students or thoughts on that? Are there websites to practice or equipment one can buy in high school to start playing around and learning any of these careers?
I can start, Kim. So one device that I think anybody who's interested in technology could purchase is called a Raspberry Pi. It's a very small $30 kind of mini computer. But really what it allows you to do is truly investigate the integration between it and applications and web services and the cloud. It's very inexpensive. And so, not having to make anybody spend a lot of money, that would be one device I would say start looking into. The different operating systems that you can load off of it, and even streaming applications. It gets you maybe a little bit more into some of the command line operating systems as well. So it's just a nice little tool that allows you to kind of spread your wings and go into a bunch of different areas. And then from the other side, I guess, code.org would be a good spot to maybe start as well, just to kind of get some basics of writing a little application. There are little devices that you can purchase that could kind of help you with some of the block coding as well. They don't cost a lot of money. So there are some devices out there that you could look at. Those would be a couple, I think, just off the top of my head that I could come up with.
Yep, and Adafruit would be another one of those, and that's related to the Raspberry Pi.
Yep.
All right, so our second question here is, can high school students take tech school classes to get a jump start on learning? Bobby, I'm gonna have you answer that because I think your response will kind of cover for all of our tech schools.
Sure, and Fox Valley Tech, Marine Park Technical College, NWTC, as well as Lakeshore Technical College have developed agreements with all of the local high schools, or many of the local high schools within our own districts. So I know at Marine Park, we have many different opportunities for students to be able to take classes through dual credit opportunities, and those directly transfer into our programs. We recently at Marine Park had a student who came and finished up an associate degree in a year because she had taken so many dual credit courses through her high school experience that she was able to knock off about half of what she needed to get done there. So I would actually suggest to any of you that are interested in dual credit courses to talk to your teachers, talk to your school counselors, and find out what opportunities exist. I know a lot of the students that take dual credit courses, they may choose or may not choose to come to the two-year technical colleges. And for those that decide to go on to the 4-year, oftentimes, some of those courses will transfer to the 4 years. So they're good to look at regardless of what your plan or intention is right now today.
Thank you. Mike, you want to talk to opportunities maybe within our 4-year institutions for dual credit?
Yep. We have the same kind of things at UW Green Bay, where high school students, if their high school doesn't offer a particular class, they're able to take it at UW Green Bay. So for example, maybe they take Calc 1 and Calc 2 at their high school, and then they're senior and they're done with their math, or they can't take any more math in high school, so they can come to UW Green Bay and take Calc 3, or, that's just an example, but we have those same sort of setups as well.
Yep, and as does Lakeland University and UW Oshkosh. So depending on where you live, it might be easier for you to collaborate as a student and a school district with an institution that's a little closer to where you're located. And it's a great opportunity. I know I keep talking about my kids, but my youngest is a student out at UW Stevens Point studying data analytics, and she was able to take the CAP classes, which is what UWO calls their dual credit courses. And she took a coding class, it was a C something class at Fox Valley Tech. And so as a result, she brought with her quite a bit of credits, and she will be graduating in 3.5 years instead of 4 years with her degree from Stevens Point. So yes, there are definitely ways to jumpstart your learning, and definitely, work with your school counselors to find out what's available at your school.
Can I just jump in real quick too? It's maybe not on the education side, but Secura does offer like youth apprentice program as well. It's a good opportunity to take maybe what you've learned and apply it in real time. So at Secura, we do have 2 high school youth apprentices, but one's from Kimberly, one's from Hortonville. And both of them have maxed out on their technology classes that they could take at the high school. and they're expanding their learning quite a bit now by, working at Secura and working on real problems and applying those skills. So that's another great way to really start to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, is by applying it in kind of, quote unquote, the real world. So those are also good opportunities. And a lot of high schools will offer the Youth Apprentice option as a credit course for you, and they allot time for you to actually work with employers. So
yeah, thank you for that, Jack. And you're right, that is an excellent opportunity available to our students. So at this point, I am going to jump out and share my screen again and take our students out to our website, where if we didn't get to all of your questions today, or you're looking for just a little bit more information, think of a question later on. If you go out to the newdigitalalliance.org website, underneath this Explore IT tab, we have a number of pages that contain information that could very well answer some of the questions we maybe didn't get to today. Under the Explore Digital Careers, we've got a number of videos from local professionals who talk about their journey. Why did they decide to go into IT? What do they do today? They describe their jobs and so forth as well. Down in this K-12 student page, you're going to find a lot of different information. What does an IT professional do? Why are some reasons you might want to explore this as a career area? What it's like to be a problem solver and how that applies to the different areas. Lots of information, but I promised you I would show you where you could find the list of high school courses and how they all apply to different roles within IT. And that's down here at the bottom under this "What are the next steps you should take" section. So you see here, for example, art's listed, right? Taking art class can help you in areas of web development, marketing, computer graphics career, communications and English. Well, pretty well no matter what IT role you get into, you're going to need to be able to communicate and communicate well. And I'd say really any professional role that you get into, that's going to be important. But when we talk technology roles, particularly those roles in project management and business analysis, because those are very customer facing roles. And you're often also having to report up and work with leadership within the company. So communication becomes important there. And you continue reading down through the list to see how the different classes apply to an IT career. Going back up to the top of the page and back up to our Explore IT tab, this digital careers page here, if you click on that, again, there's going to be a lot of information that you can read through in your free time. But I want to focus your attention down here at the digital careers table, where we've listed a lot of the different careers within the tech sector and kind of grouped them by a parent role name, but know that many times they have different names as well, depending on the company that you're looking at. Behind each one of these, you can click on that parent name, and there's a whole nother page of information behind it. Again, we'll repeat those different job titles, but we've included the skills as well, the soft skills. So I believe it was Jared that was talking about some of the skills that might be used in his role, right? But for a business analyst, people in this role are often inquisitive, they're detail oriented, they're strong communicators. So we've listed some of those there. So if you recognize yourself in any of those descriptors, this might be a job you want to explore a little further. We've also included some salary information. So start salaries, you depending on the size of the company, you could expect a start salary of around $45,000 in our area, and over time you'd be working your way up to about $110,000. So we've listed that for each of the different career areas and included videos where we have them. And then down below, we've included information on educational pathway options. So many times you'll see a training course or boot camp type thing or pathway certification. These are often options if you already have a degree, or maybe in conjunction with acquiring a 2 or 4 year degree, you can work on these certifications. If you're coming straight out of high school, you're going to really want to focus on associate and bachelor's degree programs and the options there, as many times, not 100%, but many times our employers are going to want to see some kind of a degree. If you already have one and you're reskilling, the certifications and boot camps are great. It's a great way to change careers. But if you're looking, for education for your first career, you're going to want to look at a degree granting program of some kind. And so these are linked out for more information at the specific institutions that are listed behind them. So this is a great resource for you to review. Out under our more information tab, under the resources link, we had some questions around, are there websites I can go to learn more and so forth? Well, many of those are actually grouped here. So we've talked a lot about AI and machine learning, for example. If you expand that area, there's the Google AI experiments and the machine learning for kids. These are two websites that you can go out to and learn more about AI and machine learning. Likewise, we've got some links out to learn to code tools. There's some cybersecurity links out here as well for you to explore. The majority of the information out here is free, meaning you don't have to buy anything or pay for anything. You may just have to register your email address with them to access the information and exercises that are available. So with that, we are at time. I see that Julie has put in a link for a survey, both for our students and your teachers to take if you're here with your teacher. We thank you very much for participating today, and thank you panelists for all your great insights. We appreciate you connecting with the students and sharing about the wonderful world of technology. So everybody have a great rest of your day, stay warm and stay safe.